let's get going then. I've got to get this done today. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and we are here for the final instalment in Rita Berman's lovely little train station here in her journey through Asia. So I don't know how long this video is going to be today, but it will be as long as it needs to be to get us finished. So in the last video we had picked out these pink and purple colours and we're going to use these to transfer over into this mysterious smoke, which is where we're going to start today. I have picked out 2 additional colours as well, and that's a lighter purple and a lighter pink as well to complement these colours. So the full list of colours is as follows. Middle purple pink 125, so that's our new pink colour, and that goes along with the light red violet, which is 135. We have Normal People's Violet, which is 138, and that is the new pencil to complement the Blue Violet 137 that we had picked out previously. I've identified different sections in this smoke or steam that's coming off the brakes here. There are these rounded hard edges, so these are very circular, and they're quite big as well. And then we've got these sort of broken line areas, what I call them more kind of like poofy or floofy areas. So I'm going to split those up into purple and pink. So the areas with the hard lines that are bigger are going to be the purple areas, and then these softer areas are going to be pink. So I'm going to take my lightest purple pencil, which is the violet, and I'm going to take my lightest pink pencil, which is the mid purple pink. This seems to be a go-to pink for me in this set of Polychromos pencils. I seem to use it quite a lot. So yeah, side of the pencil, hand quite far up the pencil. Everything needs to be kept soft, soft, soft here. And what we need to map out here is where the pink and purple areas are going to collide. So starting with the pink areas here, just really rough pencil lines. We'll take some time to pad this out and make it look cute. But I just want to see, using that theory, I just want to see where this colour is going to sit. Decide how far out we're going to bring the pink colour, for example. See, this all seems to be in the much smaller sections here, which I am a-okay with being all pink. And here looks to be pink too. And then these are kind of transitioning into these harder sections. So again, same idea with the purple pencil. We're going to deal with this separately up here. That this is going to be a bit of a nightmare for some people, so we'll take that a step at a time. So this just lets me see the distribution of the pink and purple next to each other, if that makes sense. So if I feel it as if a part is too purpley or pinky, now is the time to make that decision while we've only got really light layers of pencil. I have missed a wheel underlayer. Do you see that hiding in there? Oh, sneaky, sneaky. So for example, this section here, there is virtually no pink in this back section, which is fine. So we'll maybe need to vary our purple a bit more there, you know, have like a really dark section in behind this line mark area here. Again, if you want to break it down into sections, that lamppost is a really good place to stop. So let's bring this down here. So we've got a fair amount of blending to do. This is going to take time. I may speed some of this up once you've got the idea and the aesthetic. We'll see how we go though. This is just to take it a step at a time, see how it goes. Okay, so just while I'm here looking at that, this whole part here, this whole semicircle is basically going to be purple. And we've got this sort of whimsical dot work up here. So I'm going to make that pink. Well, I'm going to make most of it pink anyway. So I think what we'll do is we'll maybe have the pink round this dot work. So we'll work on that and we'll make that the edge of the image there. Just the same way as there's white here. But in this part here, I'm going to put that to purple because it's easier to blend a blue into purple than it is to blend a blue into pink. So there is logic behind that. So we'll do that in there. We'll put some purple in these parts too. And then I'm just going to kind of make that a really soft edge. So it's almost sort of following a flow, kind of like this part is too. And so we'll make that purple in at the edge there. And we'll just make that the edge of the image. I might fill in this part here because that's kind of sticking out on its own. Okay, so that's kind of my plan for that there. We'll see how we go with that. Not too concerned about it for the moment. Right, okay, so I'm quite happy with the distribution of pink versus purple. I'm going to concentrate on this section here first. So now I'm going to take my darker purple pencil, which is the blue violet, and I'm going to decide between these two purple colours where the light and the dark areas are. Now, it doesn't really matter what shape the dark and the light areas are. This is a very loose structure, obviously. This is really about you being happy with what you're seeing. For me, I think where the overlaps are, I would like it to be darker in there. So this part here is going to be pink, and this is purple. So I would want my darker purple along this line here. And I'm going to kind of follow the shape of the line work of the section above. So nice soft circular motions here. And then this lighter pencil, that's going to be what's going on at the top here. So we don't want any harsh edges anywhere here because we're having to blend all this in together. Everything needs to be soft, soft, soft until we've built everything up where we want it to be. So I can start going back over that. Once I'm happy that that's what the section's going to look like, I'm just going to start going back over it with another couple of layers of pencil just to make the picture bolder. We don't want it to look washed out. Just because we need soft transitions doesn't mean that we can't have bold colour. It's just got to be done very gradually. Now I'm deliberately leaving this edge here and this edge here light because I have to blend those into the next section. So it's important that you go steady here. And just make sure that you know where you're going before you go, if you know what I mean. Like, know exactly in your mind where you're stopping and starting so that you can blend these sections out and you're not going to have any sort of weird, harsh areas. So now let's do this part underneath so that I can show you what the pink's going to look like. So we're going to do exactly the same thing with the pink pencils now. So I think I would have my darker edge here. This is also transitioning into purple here, so that makes it super interesting. Now as I work my way up into the middle of this cloud part, I'm really letting up my pressure. I'll show you just in a wee second what that looks like. So that's quite gradual there, and that's so that I can blend in this lighter pink. So again, leave this soft in this corner, build up the layers elsewhere, because we're going to go into our light purple here. There we go. Okay, so you can see there I've got a really gentle transition into the purple from the pink. That's what we're looking for, that's what we want. So if we move to the left here, this section is pretty much all pink, so we'll do a bit of work on that. Got a sort of transition area in here. I'll do this end part first, it's a bit easier to deal with. So in against the line work sections, I know I can get my layers down, you know, quite confidently there because I know that I want that to be darker. And just make sure I feather out this edge, so lighten up the pressure to create a soft line so that we can blend in that transition. I don't know what I'm going to do with these bubbles. Right, let's go in with the pink. Oh, goodness me. That might have been a purple area down there, but again, that tiny little gap in there where that joins up, just let up the pressure there because you're going to have to do some transition in there because there's purple meets pink meets other pink there. Okay, again, back to the dark pencil here so that we can create this transition here. And then get that dark purple around the bubble section there. I'm going to bring this quite high up into where these lines are. I'm just making sure I haven't left any of these tiny little transition areas too pale, and because it makes the transition quite obvious if you've not used the same number of layers of pencil as you have elsewhere in the image. So that's quite important at this point. Another pink part here. And then this transitions into purple. So again, I think because this is the top of this section, I've got this lighter purple here, so use that to transition into the pink. And then this is pink on this side as well, so we've basically just got a big purple bit in the middle, down beside our kitty cat here. So we can kind of go to town with the purple on this part at the very bottom. And again, I'll bring that right up into the middle there, still using that circular motion. And then I can pick up with the lighter purple here. There we are. I feel like I can join up the pink safely now. I feel as if I've got enough purple down on this bottom section to be able to blend it properly now. I felt before if I'd come down with the pink, it would have been too pink and not enough purple, but I feel as if I've got that balance a bit better now. So that when I overlap them, there's not, you know, we do get a nice smooth transition and it's not too much of one colour or the other. There we go, look at that. This really is some magical smoke we've got going on here. I'm really enjoying this though. I don't often colour things like this. I think that's maybe why I'm enjoying myself. Like, this is a very unusual object for me to be colouring here in the cave. We don't do a lot of floofy pink clouds. Maybe we should do more floofy pink clouds. Okay, I'll just transition that out of that little gap there. And then back to my red violet here. Make that quite a sort of harsh semicircle there. It's only going to be harsh for a minute though. This is all going to be purple down in here, so. Okay, so if we just take a look at that little section just now, especially when I'm zoomed out, you can see the impact that it's having. So that's kind of what I was hoping for. And as we head in this direction, we want to release the pressure on these colours, because not only are we in the light of the train station here, but we all know that vapour like this dissipates. You know, it doesn't just stop dead, although we've got some very harsh lines here. So we're going to do a little bit of work with that. So again, we've got some pretty dark colour situations going on here with the purple in there. So still wanting to take away most of the white of the paper. I just don't want the purple to be quite as intense as it is on this side. This has to be fairly gradual. And this is one of those ones where just step back and sort of squint your eyes at it and see what it looks like. You're better to go cautiously, because you can always add some more in. If you go in too deep and too hard with the purple, very difficult to take that back, obviously. I do want to use quite a lot of the darker purple on this particular section, and it's just because we've got quite a lot of purple here and here, and I want to be able to lighten that up the further to the right that we move. So I will be employing quite a lot of the darker purple, but not necessarily pressing hard with it. Just as long as I can get some nice smooth transitions here, that's all I'm really after at this point. I've actually got that one as a pink one. And then again, same thing with the pink, a little darker pink in there. Blend that out with purple there. Okay, so I feel like we're really into the train station in this section here. So I'm going to stay with this lighter purple. And again, that is just the bog standard violet colour. And I want to fill in a more sort of solid layer. Again, not a heavy layer though, but just even this initial pencil up. Mentally, I'm looking at the left-hand side of this pillar. It's like, yeah, let's see what this pencil is going to look like. This whole section, though, from here over is all going to be the same sort of pressure that I'm using. I'm not going to, you know, this isn't going to fade out into nothing. I still want colour on that far right-hand side. So I'm just going to keep building this up for now. Really light layers. Just work my way across until it's at a stage that I'm happy with it. And that might be it there actually. It looks really pale on the camera. There is a bit more saturation than that in the real life naked eyeball department. Is that better for you? Yeah, that's better for you, okay. Maybe make it a little bit darker in these sections here just because there's lines and stuff going on. But yeah, I don't actually want it much more than that. And I'll maybe take my darker purple pencil just around the very edge here, so maybe like a little bit of an accent sort of thing. Add a bit of interest. There we go. Nice, 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 nice. So we'll top up these pink areas now too. So again, sticking with the lightest pink, which is the middle purple pink. Yeah, this not really been one for pinks and purples. When I do use them in the polychromo set, I tend to go for mauve and for a purple colour, and the middle purple pink. This one here for a lighter colour. They're like my I don't know, they're like my, I don't know, comfort blanket pencils maybe. So again here, just want to even up this pink in front of this pillar. Now this is where these sections, if you remember, I left this really, really light on purpose. And it's just so that I could pop in some of this other colour over the top and allow the transparency of the pencils to really sort of help us out here. So you can see there I've gone over the yellow and it's very, very slight, but there is definite colour there. Definite colour. There we go. I've just realised that we were a wee bit overexposed there. I had another lamp on over on this side and I've just turned it off, and you can see this pink colour a bit better now. I should have done that earlier. So I haven't sharpened this violet pencil at all. You can see it's quite blunt now, and that makes this so much easier. It's not so great when you're in at your edges, you know, you're trying to keep in the line mark. But if you go carefully, you can usually get right up to the edge. Alternatively, you can fill in the body of what you need to do and then sharpen it up and just go back around your edges and tidy them up later. Nice even layer of colour there. Got this whole section to even up in the violet as well. Just get that done. Okay, so I'm going to use the darker pencil here, and this is just, again, for a little bit of interest, not necessarily for any specific purpose. Kind of just want a little bit of it here and there, nothing crazy. And let's get down to this bottom section now. So again, just sticking with the lightest pencils here. It's going to be such a soft transition. It's going to be so soft you're hardly going to know it's there. Now, if you remember way back in part 1 or 2, I talked about the compulsion to rush, and this is exactly the same as the night sky that we did way back then. It's no different. You have to suppress that compulsion to rush. And bear in mind, it's marginally worse for me because I am filming a video here and I need this video to fit into a certain time frame. So the urgency is real here. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that at all. With the magic of our editing skills, we will still make the video a decent length. In addition to that, I do actually have other work to do today, which is another sense of urgency point. But we're going to ignore it, pretend it's not there. Everything will get done eventually. And just again, as we did before, maybe a wee tiny bit of the darker violet pencil. Again, don't press hard. Right, okay, so this is the last pink part here in this bottom section, so we'll get that done as well. So naturally I've added in a little bit more there. See, just because we're at the crease of the page or the gutter, you automatically press a little bit harder just because there's a kind of curvature in the page there. So we'll add a little bit more in here with the darker violet colour just to kind of make that, you know, bring it together a wee bit. Okay, so now if I zoom out, you can see where I was going with this. So now, looking at it all zoomed out like this, I feel as if this transition area is quite harsh. We go from really vibrant colours to really pale colours quite quickly. So in this middle section here, I want to add a bit more pencil. I want to make it a little bit darker, just so that we can sort of make this a bit of a softer transition. And I'm just going to use the light coloured pencils for this and just add in a really quick extra layer. And again, this kind of part here just feels as if it's washed out, like kind of drops off a cliff really quickly there. Like, and that escalated quickly kind of thing. But this is the beauty. If you've not put enough pencil down, it's only going to take you 2 minutes to build it up and see what it looks like again. If you've gone in really heavy-handed, it might be a problem for you. Okay, that's looking a bit better already. I'll bring this down. Okay. Okay, yes, much better, much happier with that. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to try and kind of like do the same thing up here. This is a bit weird and I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do with it, but I am going to try to sort of replicate what we've done down here. It's very difficult though because we don't have the same line work. But let's just see where we go. So we've got this pale part up here. So I've got my violet colour. And I'm just going to pop that in there. See, blue and violet obviously are next to each other on the spectrum, so it's much easier to blend these two colours together and make it look really soft and gentle, and we've done a reasonably good job of that already. Clap, clap. So this is where, again, it pays to know your colour theory, even if it's just really basic stuff, you know, like the colour spectrum or the colour wheel, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to pop that wee tiny bit of purple there. To be fair, the pinks that we're using are more of a purpley pink, so it would probably blend okay with the blue anyway, truth be told. But I just find it easier with the purple. Keeping that nice light pressure. Still haven't sharpened my pencil. Fully intentional. Now see, I'm just sticking with the lightest colours again, so I've got my lighter pink here. Just pop a wee tiny bit of that in here. And I'm now going to start on these dotted areas. So I'm just following that line round. Make this really soft. I want all these transitions to be soft, as if they've been done with a powder puff and some pastel. And again, if we do this very gently, we can build the colour up slowly and get a really nice balance between delicate and soft transitions and not have that sort of washed out, you know, I haven't finished my colouring page type look. We don't want that. And the key to getting it not looking like that is to try and keep your colour as even as possible. We are human beings and, you know, it's never going to be 100% perfect, but we can get it pretty good with a bit of patience and a bit of practice as well. And this is one of these skills 100% you will get better at with experience and practice as time goes on, for sure. I mean, I don't think mine are anywhere near perfect. I think I've got a long way to go, but I am quite comfortable making these transitions now because something like this is quite complicated. You know, this is quite an advanced set of pencil skills here, in terms of the quantity and the complexity of the blending areas and, you know, so on and so forth. So, yeah. If you're colouring along or you're going to incorporate this into your own image, this is fairly complex in terms of skill level, I would say. Okay, so there's a pink into purple. And again, you will find a difference here because you're on that apex of the curve out from the spine. There's not a lot you can do about that. The pencil just behaves differently because of the way the paper's been manipulated. So you just have to go with the flow and let it happen. There's not much you can do about that unless you take your pages out your colouring books, which I really, really don't like. But I know some people do because they like it on a flat surface. So if you're in that situation, then you'll have a much better time with that. I like to keep my pictures in the book though. Just a preference. Yeah, so I actually think I want to put some purple in here. I might regret this decision, but let's see what that looks like. Again, I'm kind of like feathering this out to not very much at all, which is difficult on this part of the page, but I just feel like, yeah, okay. I am putting absolutely no weight on this pencil tip at all. I'm just letting the pencil sort of dance across the paper on its own. See, now I kind of want a little bit of pink in here. Wow, this is awkward. And then I'll fade that out into purple. Round here. Oh, wow. Just like to keep things nice and simple for myself, you know? Okay. And then back to pink here. Follow these dots. I'm not really sure what else I would do with that if I wasn't doing this, honestly. I would love to hear what you're going to do with this section. If you're not going for the same ideas we're doing here, would love to hear how you've tackled this if you've already coloured it or if you've already had thoughts for yourself. Would absolutely love to hear that. Because I think that this is one of the kind of fun things about colouring is a lot of these kind of sections are just open to interpretation and everyone's brains are wired up differently and it's amazing to see the different things that people come out with. See, this feels really scratchy to me. I'm not happy with this at all. Scratchy and patchy. I don't want it to be much darker though is the thing. We were doing so well as well. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit more purple, not much though. Oh no, see I've got that horrible scratchy bit on the page and that's again just because of where we are on the paper. Okay, let's take a wee step back and see what's what. I feel like it's lacking something. I don't know what that something is. I kind of want to take a fine liner and add in some lines. Honestly, I might just do that. Let's see what a 0. Okay, I'm going to use a 01. I can thicken it up if need be. I feel as if I need like a solid line, so that kind of makes me want to like this. Okay, let's see how that looks then. Yeah, I feel as if that just makes it fit in a little bit better. So that was fairly straightforward. That was only a couple of lines. I'm going to give them a little minute to just to dry and we'll top it back up with some pencil to make it look, you know, like this part that we've done here so that it does all tie in together. While we're waiting for that, I'm going to go back again to a pencil we actually picked out in the last video and that was the Cobalt Turquoise, which is a 155. And I'm just going to do a little bit of one pencil shading here and I'm going to do it on the bow of this beautiful cat here. Someone mentioned in the comments in one of the other videos that there's no way that they'd get a bow on their cat like this. I'm like, yeah, I don't see it myself. Especially not one that size. The bow's bigger than the cat's head. So let's get a light layer of that down. Again, if we take this as a simple light source that's hitting the subject from the front here, from where we're looking at it, we can just use our pencil strokes. So in underneath where the bow's tied, you can press really hard and get some flicky lines out there. That is 100% going to be kind of dark in there because of creases. And then we can just add a bit of dimension, so there's maybe a bit of curvature there, so maybe put a little bit there. I'll just even the rest of this colour out. And the same under here as well, there's got these creases here, so you can really press them in and then just have this a bit lighter. It's a really simple way to add some colour. And we'll do that. I feel like this is sitting proud rather than under his chin, so if we put a dark line there, it will tuck it back in under his chin. Now, if you're feeling fancy and you want to add a bit more colour, you could pick a really light blue, for example. That would be a good shout. So we could pick the light cobalt turquoise. I can just show you here. This one here, 154. Just grab it out my pencil case. And you can put a layer of that over the top if you want a more even and sort of bolder colour. And you don't want to take away from what you've got. So you can see the difference there between those two sides. You have got a much lighter pencil, but you've got much more even and brighter colour here. So it's entirely up to you. Me personally, I would leave a couple of little edges if I was doing this, like this, just to give that sort of idea of a bit of a highlight. So I might do that on this side at the top of the bow, like so. Again, it just gives you a bit more interest. You don't have to. If you feel that this makes it look unfinished, then by all means go ahead and colour the rest of it in. That's not a problem. Right, okay, I think this fine liner should have done its thing by now. So I'm just going to go back to my two purple pencils here again. So that was my blue violet and the plain ordinary violet, all in its own. And I'm just going to put in a little bit more round here. And then I'm going to take the darker pencil. Press a wee bitty harder, but not much, not much. Just give us a little bit of something, something. Sorry guys, I've still got the autofocus on, that's no use to you there. There, so you can add in a little bit more there. Yeah, a bit happier that that fits in with what's going on underneath now. You know, it's not going to catch your eye straight away when you start looking at the picture and think, well, that looks really out of place. Okay, so for the cat himself, or herself, we are going to use the cream pencil that we used before, which is 102. And I'm also going to use the brown ochre, which is 182. And we're going to use a little bit of terracotta, which is 186. So let's cover his little face entirely in the cream pencil. Whole lot, really quickly. Bish bash bosh, job's a good one. And I'm going to use the terracotta down the centre of his face. So we'll go in between his stripes here down to his nose. You can see I'm using quite a sort of staccato movement there. No particular, you can make it as smooth as you want. I just find it easier when I'm doing downward strokes. And I'm going to take that colour around the top of his ears because why not? And then under his chin here, I'm going to take this ochre pencil and we'll bring that up round the sides. Because that's one of the things with most markings on cats and I suppose dogs as well. The palest part of the markings tend to be around the eye and nose area. And that's just one of those things. There we go. Get that really dark in there. Really press down there. Can fade that out there. You can use this ochre colour in the ears as well if you want. It's looking pretty good. And if you want to go back in with the cream as well, I would quite like to do that in this chin area. And then just have this area around the eyes to be really pale. Give them a sort of highlight almost. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so same on the bottom half. Get a layer of cream down first. Again, the belly is a really common area, and the chest that's lighter in cats, mammals in general, actually. So let's give him a ginger tail here, down to these creases, and we can use this ochre colour as the shadow colour with the cream here. So let's just go lightly here. We'll bring that all the way up to the top there, and mix it with the cream. So we're just layering these colours up a little bit here. Kind of matching the guitar, isn't he? And did you know I'm not that mad about that? Not mad about that at all. Oh, goodness me. Alright then, so this back leg, I think we'll do the same. We'll give him terracotta toes. That's good there, so we've got that nice crease line to work with there as well, so that makes it nice and easy for us down the bottom. And again, go jump between the ochre and the cream, using this for shadow and lighter areas. Maybe put a wee bit under his bow there. Not sure if this cat's a boy or a girl. I'm happy to hear your thoughts on that in the comments as well. I think it might be a girl actually. maybe a little girl. Yeah, paler in there. This cream going round there. Okay. Kind of going to go in a little bit of a light semicircle there as well, just to kind of make that sort of joint in the leg stand out a little bit. I know we don't need to because we've got the black line there, but I kind of like doing that. Just put a bit more cream down there as well, and maybe a wee line. It's amazing how much my colouring speeds up when I'm colouring animals, isn't it? It's a very familiar topic to me, that's why. That's hilarious. Yeah, I was going at like a snail's pace with the old smoke there, but I get onto the cat and I'm like, choo choo, straight out that station. Gem and the Colour Cave train is off. That's funny. Habits, creatures. Okay, there we go. This little cat's looking quite cute. And fits in with the surroundings as well. Okay, and last of all, we've got this suitcase at the back. So I want a really dark base for the suitcase, but I think it obviously looks like one of these kind of like old-fashioned leather suitcases. So I want to take my dark browns here. So I'm going to grab my walnut brown and also walnut brown and dark sepia. So that's the walnut brown is 177 and the dark sepia is 175. So I'm going to start with this walnut brown. And I am going to work my way around all the stickers and bits and bobs that are here, because there's quite a lot going on in this suitcase here. Quite a lot going on. So let's get a layer of this down. Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's good. Now, again, if we think about our light source, this front side of the suitcase is going to be lighter than the top part because we think that the light's coming from where we are viewing the image from. So that's just something to think about while we're messing about here. Also, the guitar may cast a shadow, so that's something else you could add in if you're feeling fancy. Just want to get the basic colour down first and then we'll go from there. So again, this is quite a complicated object because of textures, light, and the number of elements that are on it. So we're just going to take it a tiny little bit at a time, okay? There is nothing bad going on here that we need to worry about. So on this top part, the angle of the suitcase is quite weird, and we can see more of the top than perhaps we should be able to. So I'm going to start off with another layer. I'm just going to do this tiny little section just now. I'm not moving anywhere else. I'm going to put on an extra layer of this walnut brown. And as we come to this front edge here, I'm going to lighten up my pressure and I'm going to grab that brown ochre and put a really light layer of the brown ochre along this front edge, like this. Blend it out and then put the walnut brown over the top of it. So you can see you've got a little bit of a colour change there. In behind here, we could do the same, I suppose. I do think the guitar would be giving us some, a bit of a shadow on there. So you could be a bit bolder there and press a bit harder. Just trying to even this colour up a bit now. And the same in this little corner here. We've got this tiny little nook in here. Bring this right along here. Okay, so far so good. So on the front now, I feel like the same sort of idea. If I put the ochre, a very light layer of it, I mean, on this section here, down to probably 2/3 of the way down, and then bring this up from the bottom, I feel like that might be suitable. But also see where these straps and buckles are. I'm going to run a line of that all the way around because I want to show that that's standing proud of the suitcase. You know, it's not actually painted onto the suitcase. Stickers, not so much. Let's add a little bit of that in down there as well. Okay. And then we'll just stick a layer of this. Again, maybe, you know, a bit there. Get this a bit darker down the bottom. Okay, so again, this in here I think would be pretty dark because we've got this strap. Meant to do the same there as well. But also this label's here too, so don't be shy with the walnut brown in there. And this is going to be quite dark down here, so there's stuff in front of it and stickers and guitars and whatnot. So this part here is really just a case of sort of picking your way through. I find it easier to do the background first with stuff like this because it makes all these other elements pop out because they're white, and I find that much easier to deal with personally than doing it the other way around. That's going to be quite dark in there, so I would imagine. For this next part, I'm using the same two pencils, but my ratios are going to be different, and this is for the straps. So I want to put a medium pressure layer of this ochre colour down first. This is going to be our sort of primary or base colour here. And I want to do that for the straps and this handle. And then I can take this walnut brown, and kind of like I did with the ochre for the cat, I kind of just want to use this as an accent colour. So places where there might be a bit of shadow or a bit of grubbiness. We've talked about grubbiness quite a lot at this train station. So that's where I want to put the walnut brown like this, you know, where, because that's where obviously hands have been grabbing on and pulling through, so that might be a bit grubby. In terms of the actual buckles itself, this is more about shadows here. So just trying to think about places where that would be a thing. These buckle holes. I just really want to make this feel a bit worn, and the way to do that is just by adding some texture. There we go. Like, yeah, it looks, you know, got a bit of character to it there. This is going to be quite dark in here, I would imagine, as well. Now, quite a lot of these old-fashioned suitcases have sort of gold or brass fastenings, which obviously fits in very well with this theme that we've kept. So I've got my cream pencil there, so I'm just going to whack that down over these sort of corner pieces, as it were. And then with the terracotta, just going to put a wee layer over the top of that. Again, this is, you know, there's going to be different facets here, so you're going to see different colours in inverted commas. But this front facing part's where the bulk of the light's coming from, so we assume that they'll just be cream on their own. Okay, so we've got this tag here as well, which I want to use the cream pencil on, and it's just to take away some of that white of the paper. I also need to fill in this little part here, and then the buckles as well. Stick a layer of cream down on that, and then use the terracotta. Put a few little accents on them here and there. Give them that sort of goldeny feel. And I'm going to use this terracotta for the tag here. Again, back in the bad old days, they used to be made of leather. I don't think they're made of leather anymore, but... Okay, now for the stickers, here's the fun part. We're going to grab the purple and the turquoise colours that we're using and the pink colours, and we're going to use these for the stickers. So no rhyme nor reason to these. It's entirely up to you what you know, what you want to do with this. But there's a blue sticker there, and I think just for posterity, just for equal division of colour, I think I'll have one over there. But I might give that a pink border, because why not? And then let's have a purple one here. Oh yeah, I might have a purple border on this one here. This one can have a pink border. Now, there's nothing to stop you colouring these in any other colour you want. I tend to like to stick to the colours that are in the picture to begin with. I kind of like that. So I'm happy to use these for that purpose. And there we go, that is it. So let's take a wee zoom out now. And that is Rita Berman's train station in Journey Through Asia. I hope you've enjoyed some of the techniques that we've used in this. I've really enjoyed just colouring in this sort of smaller format. As I say, this is the first image I've coloured in of Rita's. I've just remembered that I need to fill in this little wheel here. I think that was the dark sepia I used, the dark indigo I used for that. Or maybe it was a warm grey. Can't actually remember. I think it was a grey colour, honestly. Yeah, it was. Let's use... There's the Payne's Grey. I'll use Payne's Grey. I can't remember what the other colour was. It'll be fine tucked in there. No one will notice. It's all good. Yeah, I've just really enjoyed this process and colouring in Rita's books, because this is the first time I have done this, and I hope that you have maybe found some of these techniques useful. You know, the stuff that's going on here, for instance, this is something that's maybe not something you would use every day, and there's definitely been a lot of blending, so love to hear your thoughts on this page. If you would like to see another page coloured as well, we can maybe come back to this in a couple of months. But for now, that is it. I hope you have all enjoyed watching. We have recently been up and running with our memberships which is proving to be very successful. So if you would like to become a member, you can hit the join button, which is down in this side of the video. If you are viewing this on iOS in the app, you will not see a join button. All you have to do is go to the YouTube website in your browser, and when you click into the colour cave, you'll see the join button in that bottom right hand side. There's lots of perks, from very simple custom emojis that can use in the comments, right up to exclusive vlogs and members only live streams at the top end. So there is something for everyone. So you can check that out. If you hit that join button, it will show you all the information there. And I will look forward to seeing you back in the cave on Sunday for another video. So have a great day, everyone, and bye bye for now.